Well, we've shot some stunning locations for the EMBN show, but I think today is pretty up there. We're on the shores of Loch Carron and the stunning village of Plockton. On today's show, we're going to be taking a look at the other side of the Eurobike show, which took place a few weeks ago. But first of all, a few pieces of news. Now, Intense, which are located in Temecula, California, famous for that M1 bike, which was a pioneering bike in terms of downhill. They've got a new bike. They've got a new Tazer MX, which is full aluminium. Now, I do like a good bit of aluminium, especially if it's from Jeff Stieber and his team. This time, it's 155 rear, 160mm front. It's got a 630 watt-hour battery, Shimano EP8 motor, and a 27.5-inch wheel mix. As I'm sure you guys will agree, it's a stunning bit of kit, so check out the website for some more images and detail of that bike. Meanwhile, across the North Sea, Pole have got a new bike. It's actually called the Sonni. Now, actually, my cat is called Sonni. It's equally big hitting, 180 front, 170mm rear. Again, this is another aluminium bike, featuring this time the Bosch motor. So again, check out the Pole website for more details on that. Now, on the subject of Bosch, on the 19th and 20th of August this month, Bosch have actually got a 2-day event based just south of Edinburgh. It's like an adventure eMTB race. So take a look at the website and get your entry in. There'll be a DJ, there'll be a bar, obviously, but most of all, there will be some of the most amazing trails you'll ever ride on an eMTB. So take a look at that. As I said, the 19th and 20th of August, there's limited places available. So get yourselves over to book yourself an entry. Right then, Eurobike. Now, obviously, we feature the razzmatazz of Eurobike every year. But there's actually another side to the Eurobike show, the lesser known side of the Eurobike, and also possibly the lesser priced version of the Eurobike show. We've got lots of brands from all over the world. We saw China, we saw New Zealand, we saw Austria, we saw Spain. So me and Adam took a walk around to look at some quite different eMTBs on the market. And as I mentioned, lots of them are actually less priced, which many of you want to see on the channel. So this is what we found. Hey guys, we're going to take you on a tour of the wild, wacky and weird world of Hall 9, the Eurobike.
We're looking for deals, we're looking for bargains. I've got Highland Edge here. This is part of the Whiz company. So this is 1,100 euros. So my Vice motor is the X700. We got Ride Fast Shock. I can't say I've ever heard of them before, but carbon frame, 1,100 euros. Some people think fat bikes are overkill. How about a full suspension fat bike e-bike? This is an Overfly Hulk, and yeah, it looks like a Hulk. Upside down forks, it's got a Bafang 1,000-watt motor, 720-hour battery. This thing, it lives up to its name, the Hulk.
E-Cult from Slovenia. This is a full Slovenian-built bike, the battery, the motor, the frame. 150mm travel. It's got a Domel motor on here, which is 112 Newton meters of torque. Great looking bike, have to say. Don't actually think I've seen so many e-bikes. This haul is mental.
Talking of deals, we find some cool ones. 5,199 euros. This has actually got a 100 Newton meter motor. This has also got a 804 watt-hour battery. This is the Heifer motor. And the Heifer Mountain 7 full carbon frame, 150mm travel Yaris. That's a good looking bike. And for 5,000 euros, spec'd well. However, over here, using Heifer as the example here, they've got their own motors, a P100, 80 Newton meters of torque, 708 watt hours, but that's 2,599 euros. It's a great spec, great price, and a good looking bike in my eyes. Steep. High pivot. That's quite different. There's some interesting spec on that. The Pardus.
Here we go. Here we go.
Cyclone. I'm actually quite a fan of the colours, but the geometry, I wouldn't want to hazard a guess.
Gotta say, this haul just keeps on giving with e-mountain bikes. We've got the Phoenix. What the heck was that? We've got the Phoenix here with the Bafang motor, and then behind it, Adam, what's we got behind it? Look at the camera.
Phoenix with an Ananda hidden under its wing.
Oh, what? An Ananda?
No, don't get me nuts today. Ananda.
Very cool looking bike. The Smart Motion Explore. The Bafang motor on there. Some really nice detail on the display and the controller. From New Zealand. Cool brand. Whoa, I'm loving the head angle on this one. Adam, what do you reckon?
Yeah, I'd be keen to know the geo numbers. That is a looker. Head angle, it's almost vertical. Bottom bracket, I think you need the tiniest cranks to not destroy.
Think of the brand name.
That's pretty cool, no? Gorilla in a helmet.
It's an ape, actually.
Oh, there's some pretty wild brands here. This is the wild knife. And asthma? I don't know if you want to put asthma on your bike. I don't have asthma.
I know Adam loves a bit of asymmetry.
Hey, there's a line here. The line is not in the middle on this one. But it's actually a motor we haven't seen yet at this Eurobike. It's a Vallejo motor and gearbox, internal. Cool stuff, to be fair.
Wasn't going to be long before we saw the good old LMX, was it? There she is. In all its glory. Or something like that. Hold up. We've got the Java decaf by the looks of it. Oh, this looks suspiciously like something we've already seen, right?
Yeah, but I mean, it's full carbon. That's pretty chunky as well. It's got that My Vice motor, so that's 100 Newton meters. I'm a big fan of these ride fast shocks.
Dude, it looks a bit similar to lots of other bikes we've seen today, right?
Yeah, that's a very, very similar shape. So make your decision. Have a look, see what you think in the comments. Chasing people with de-restricted e-bikes on a de-restricted e-bike.
MS Energy, reach for more. How much are you going to reach for in your pocket, Adam, on that one?
About 5K, give or take.
Okay, everyone, now cool places. We're in a pretty cool place. In fact, we've been to some stunning locations on our eMTBs in the past few days. We've been actually riding the all-new Giant Stance, which is 125 rear, 140 front in the hills north of here. Check out that video coming soon. It's possibly one of the biggest pieces of rock in Britain, possibly in Europe. So that's coming out on the channel in a few weeks' time. We've also been out on Skye riding the new Vitus bike. That's 170mm travel. So some lesser priced bikes taken to some pretty extreme locations. Now, on the subject of locations, you guys, first of all, we've got Alan, who's out in Anzer. We've got some nice alpine looking peaks there in the background. And his Bulls Evo AM Carbon. Really do like a Bulls bike. And then Neil, who's in Kinder Reservoir here in the UK on his white E180 RS. And then finally, out in Cumberland, BC, on Vancouver Island, Robert is spinning around on his Orbea Rise M20. So 3 fantastic locations there from you guys on where in the world, out and about, cool places, you call it what you will. It's great to see where you've been riding. Like I said, we're in northwest Scotland. We've got some stunning videos on some kind of lesser priced eMTBs coming for you soon. Some feedback from you guys from the past week. First of all, the video which we featured, the all new Track Fuel EXE Alloy, which is a stunning bike. I actually prefer it to the carbon one at between £5,000 to £7,000. First question is from Abdul Razak is, how do I compare the TQ motor resistance with a Brose motor without the battery? Well, I'd say the TQ motor is pretty much resistance free. It's actually noise free, whether you're running it with the motor on or with the motor off. So what I would say is get yourself a spin on the bike. I think is possibly one of my favorite mid-power e-mountain bikes on the market. There's a really good fizz to that bike. It's a really good kind of compliance when you ride in roots and rocks in it. And for a 140, 150mm bike, it really does fly. And then from Dogs Yesella is, so when is it due to land and can it be mulleted? I'm pretty sure that those bikes are available at the moment. Can it be mulleted? Yes, it can with the flip chip, or they call it the Mino Link on the back of that bike. But do you know what? As a trail bike, I'd probably leave it as it is. And then some more questions from our weekly videos. First of all, from Steve Sullivan. Does anyone know if there's a rebuild kit that also fixes the rattle issue on the Shimano EP8? Mine sounds like a bag of spanners. Whew, where do we start with that? Obviously, we've recently done a video on most of the e-mountain bike motors. It's funny, isn't it? I actually tune out the sound of the bike when I'm out on the trail. I mean, for many years, I had bikes with rattling chains or rattling chainstays, rattling wheels, rattling derailleurs. I think actually the sound of Shimano motors does vary depending on the frame that they're built into. Yes, there is a rattle. Let's not lie about it. But I'm not aware of a rebuild kit. I actually recently rode the EP801. Maybe it was the bike, maybe it was the motor. I think there's a less of a rattle on that, but I'm not sure. And then from Peter Cornham, do the motors get sent back and get refurbished? I sincerely doubt they just get thrown away. That's funny. This is in relation to last week's show where we talked about the whole kind of replacement of e-mountain bike motors rather than refurbishment, like you mentioned. Now, I'd like to think that most of those motors do get refurbished. I certainly know that from the likes of the guys down at Performance Bearings here in the UK, they rebuild them, and I'm pretty sure they give you a new warranty on those motors. So I think it's about 50-50. I'd have to go to the likes, of all the motor manufacturers and get a view across the brands to get you an accurate picture of that, I'm afraid. Next up is the weekly question to you guys. This week, we want to know what has been your best upgrade to either your bike and yourself, or yourself, should I say, to improve your riding. So get involved in the comments down below and let's get a discussion going about upgrades. Well, the tide is slowly coming in, and I think we need to get a move on because there's only one way off this little island that me and Louis are on. So bike vault time, and kicking it off this week is Justin and his Specialized Funky Turbo. This is on Bucket Chiara at Twin Peaks Trail. Twin Peaks being Pacific Northwest. I'm sure you all agree that that is a super nice bike. Oh, and another Specialized, this time Turbo Levo with a coil, and this is from Pedro in Split, Croatia. Pedro, I think there's some beautiful light on that bike, and especially with that coil shock, I'm going to give you super nice again. Next up from now this is in St Agnes in Cornwall. I'm actually going to be in St Agnes on holiday in a few weeks' time. Wow, look at this. This is the new Transition Relay. I do love a good bit of coastal action. And Jan, or Jan, it's going to be Jan, right? Jan, I'm going to give you super nice as well. And then finally, Bruno is in Tash near Zermatt on a Canevo, Turbo Canevo Expert 2022, lovely colour. And that's nice. Guys, thanks so much for your bike vault submissions. There's some fantastic bikes in there. I particularly like that funky Specialized Turbo. And yeah, let's see more of those custom builds in the future. Okay, folks, getting social. Before we get social, do any of you think that e-mountain biking, especially on full power bikes, is actually a different sport to everything else? We've been bog trotting for the last few days here in northwest Scotland, and you can just get across bogs and terrain which you can't do on a mountain bike. It just opens up the e-bike experience. It opens up the mountain bike experience totally. Anyway, sorry, I'm getting distracted whilst the tide's coming in. Time to get social. Danger Home, you might have seen our bike with Danger Home from the Eurobike show a few weeks ago. This is actually Danger Home shredding his bike. He's a hell of a rider on one of the lightest e-mountain bikes in the world. I'm sure you agree. That's a fantastic bit of action. And next up is Commensal rider Alex Rideau. Now, he's a World Cup enduro racer. Again, making tech climbs look like tarmac roads on his Commensal Meta there. And finally, Josh Bryceland, who was due to ride the Hardline recently in mid-Wales, did training on his e-Moterra. And I'm sure you agree that Josh can chuck around his e-Moterra every way as brilliantly as he can his analog. So that's it for this week's EMBN show from Plockton on Loch Carron. Please do get involved in some chat about what you think about Hall 9 of Eurobike, which features the weird and wonderful, but more than that, some fantastic bikes with good batteries, good motors, great geometry, and bikes you don't normally see in the eMTB world. And we'll see you next week. I don't know where from, but we'll definitely be there.